Stop doing that. Don't say that. That's not good to think. What's wrong with you? This is what many of us heard as children. Growing up, we were told what to do, what to say, and how to think. Some of it to our great benefit, and some of it to the very detriment of our identity. We have become so accustomed to fitting in, to staying topical, that we forget the very essence of who we are, replacing the innate, beautiful desires God has instilled with us with qualities that will help us assimilate, so we can avoid the dreaded question, what's wrong with you? Were you sensitive, taught to act tough? Were you a dancer, taught to throw a football? Were you spiritual, thought to be logical? If we are truly to do, as Jesus says in today's gospel, and give our lives away, we have to let go of the identity imposed upon us by our culture, the mask we have adopted to avoid the question, what's wrong with you? In C.S. Lewis's The Screwtape Letters, he says the devil tries to make us abandon the people or food or books we really like in favor of the best people, the right food, and the important books. How many times has this happened to us? Were you handed the history book when you wanted to read fantasy? How many times have we done this to ourselves? Do you dance all the time in your room, but when you're at a school dance, you stay to the corner because you're embarrassed? Some of these notions of the right food or the best people are good for us. They help us improve our health, furnish our intellect, and cause us to expand our horizons. However, when we start to replace what we really like with all these shoulds, we are just who culture has made us to be, and not who God has made us to be. St. Augustine says, not only does God see through this fallacy, but everyone else as well. In his Confessions, he says, the truth is truth, and the folly is folly, no matter how you dress the two. So if I bake dry chocolate cupcakes, it does not matter how much frosting I use to cover them up. A dry cake is a dry cake, brothers and sisters. No matter how you dress yourself, if you are not being honest with yourself, people will notice. If we are buttering up that important person because we want to make a good impression, it's obvious. If we are unhappy at a job but continue to stay there because it's proper, it's obvious. If we do not like someone's cooking, it's obvious. Furthermore, if this is evident in our religious life, it is a much graver offense. If we are just saying the right words in vocal prayer and doing the right acts of charity in our ministry and meditating in the right position, it is not just about fitting in anymore. Our religious vocation has become a performance. It is a beautiful thing to adopt the practices within our faith. It is great to always want to draw closer to God through different prayers, meditative exercises, and acts of charity. Also, staying within the parameters of morality and decency is imperative. But do not confuse morality with scrupulosity. Cantor Teresa reminds us that true expression of faith and true virtue is not something we adopt, or something that we impose on ourselves, or something that we control. It is a gift. It is a consequence of love. In being filled with God's love, we will be more virtuous. It is through this saturation of love that we desire material objects less, have purer thoughts and intentions, and are able to freely and humbly give ourselves away. It is not about practicing and controlling our virtuous actions more. It is about allowing God's love into our lives more. In order to do that, we must stop performing. Stop being a cookie-cutter religious in whatever aspect that may be, and start acknowledging and nourishing the identity, the personality, the voice God gave you. For St. Catherine of Siena says that once you know yourself, you know God. It is in staying true to your identity that you can hear God even when the world speaks louder. Mother Teresa should have stayed in the convent. John of the Cross should have listened to his brothers. Francis should have just become a merchant. Thank God they did not listen to everyone else. Therefore, we must stop listening to everyone else and start listening to God in ourselves. If you are sensitive, get in touch with your sensitivity and use it to help others. If you are an artist, harness your craft to bring beauty to the world. If you are spiritual, cherish and nourish it to become closer to God. You were designed a certain way for a certain purpose. You are wonderfully made. Do not let anyone ever convince you that your skills, your culture, your personality, your voice are nothing short of gifts. To denounce your gift is in the way denouncing God. Use your gifts, build them, perfect them. But remember, they are all for glorifying God. Glorify Him with your intellect, with the work of your hands, and with what you say. Make the world beautiful for God. By the time you have relinquished your false identity and have rediscovered and accepted who you truly are, you will not fear that quizzical, condescending look accompanied by the question, "What's wrong with you?" Because you know the truth. There is nothing wrong with you.